Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews.
Woohoo!
I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room, and this is Friday Sews, when we talk about sewing in life. That's all there is to it, just sewing in life. Weekly chat, catching up, just doing our modern day sewing circle. So let me tell you about my week of sewing. Well, I hit 3 walls. 3. Lots of problem solving, but you know what? It was totally fine, because here's what happened. Okay, first of all, I was gonna make McCall's 8358, which is a Laura Ashley reprint. I was a little dubious, but I think that it's probably a really pretty dress. And I looked on Instagram and I saw so many very, very pretty ones. Gorgeous, really. And so I thought, yeah, I'm gonna definitely do this. I was gonna do it out of this rayon challis, because I thought, ooh, yes, it's lightweight, but it's got a little more, I don't know, it feels a little more like cotton lawn than actual rayon, but it's beautiful fabric. And I thought, perfect for this dress. No, I had 3.5 yards and it calls for 5, I think. Yeah, 5 and change. This was 54 inches wide, which is an odd width for this. You would normally think it would be 60 or 45, but it just wasn't enough fabric, so I had to give up. And man, I tried to Tetris the heck out of that thing and it just didn't work. So I thought, okay, plan B, what are we gonna do? One of the things that I decided to try was to measure the length of the ruffle pieces and then just add all the inches up according to how many of those I had to cut. And so I tried that with the Laura Ashley dress and it didn't work. So I finally thought, well, what if I do 2 different things, like a dress, like a 2-piece dress, like a top and a skirt that match, all the same fabric. Okay, so I ran across Simplicity 8883, which I have wanted to make for a little while. I want to do view F, and really pretty. I did the math. I promise you. I did the math. Still didn't have enough fabric. And by the time I did the math, I had already cut this out. So I had this and I thought, what am I gonna do? So the reason I say I did the math was because I pulled out Butterick 6304, which is from 1988. I love that little flouncy skirt. Oh, it's so cute. And I didn't have enough. I did the math, laid it all out, thought, yes, I'm good. Nope. So I thought, all right, plan B, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought, well, what do I have in my stash that will work for another fabric for one of the ruffles, maybe the bottom ruffle? And I looked at the colors here and I thought, surely I've got something, but it needed to be about the same weight as this because it's rayon challis. I can't believe that I had this, but I have this, which, look at this. I can't believe it. It's perfect. And it's rayon. It's more like, I don't know, it's a little heavier than challis. It's like rayon twill, but I'm going to make it work because I really like this idea of the top and the little skirt that match. I think that's just really pretty. So, yay, problem solved. Just have to cut it out. Moving on, the next wall I hit. This was a very minor wall, like a pony wall, like a little knee wall. Really, it was. Simplicity 4675 is a dress that I want to cut out. It's the green one, and I want to cut it out of this really nice seersucker. It's just a very traditional seersucker. Well, I'm pretty sure I have enough fabric this time. But I had traced it off and I realized I had not lowered the apex on that princess seam. And because I have had so much trouble lately with that, I thought, I really need to trace off that bodice and side bodice piece, those pieces, and lower that apex. So I'm gonna do that. And that was an easy fix. I just didn't feel like doing it after running into all the trouble and the brain work to do the other one. So the next wall number 3, yes, wall number 3. I was going to cut out my bootstrap dress form. This is a DIY dress form that you cut out of fabric and then you put it together and then you stuff it, and it's you. It's exactly you because you put in your own measurements. So first of all, I didn't have the instructions and I had a double of time trying to find them on the website, but I finally found them, printed this out. It's all good. And then I read on the cutting layout, it said, if you have one line and not two, your seam allowance is not included. And I thought, you've got to be kidding me. I had already cut out all of these pieces because I didn't need to trace them off, did I? No, I was only going to use this one time. And I immediately thought, I'm going to have to go back in and trace off every one of these pieces and add seam allowance. And it just made me mad. I thought, I don't want to deal with that right now. So yes, goodbye bootstrap for the time being. Actually, I think I may just go back in and eyeball it because I had a conversation with Stephanie Farrell from Stephanie Farrell Focus, and she was wonderful. She said, oh, just go for it. I liked that idea. So I feel like I conquered all these walls. Like I went in there and beat them down, and I have solutions. I love that. I love having solutions. So I needed a win, and I have this rayon challis from Minerva, which, look at this color. Is this color not just glorious? I love this color so much. And I thought, let's do something a little different. Went back through all my dresses again in my big binder, and I then didn't like anything. So I went on to the 1990s, the 1980s, the 1970s. I came up with Simplicity 8070. And this is, I don't know when it's from because it's printed in this teeny tiny little microscopic print, and I don't want to deal with it. So anyway, it is a dress that looks a little bit like a top and a sarong. Not my usual modus operandi. But you know, I just thought, let's try something a little different. You know, maybe not just a shift dress. So I went ahead and cut out view B, but I cut it out of this, and I think it's going to be fabulous. I really, really do. Now, I have a random thing to talk to you about, and that is your thoughts. I want to get a consensus here. I want to know what your thoughts are on skirt versus scooter skirt versus culottes versus gauchos. I am so curious to hear your definitions of each one of these things because I recently did a vintage pattern haul and I couldn't figure out one to the next what I was talking about. I just couldn't. So I thought I would go back into some of these vintage patterns that I had and read on the back the description and see where I get. And as I do it, I want to know if you agree or not. Okay, Simplicity 8013. I have two of these. It's from 1977, and it's called a pant skirt. A pant skirt. Okay, now this looks like gauchos to me. It's what I would call gauchos, or I did call gauchos back in 1977 when this was printed. Oddly, this pant skirt in two lengths has a regular skirt zipper up the front, not like a fly, like what you'd put on like a jean skirt. No, pair of jeans. No, it's like a regular lapped a zipper that you put in the back of a skirt. I just thought that was crazy. It is cut in one piece, which is kind of cool, but pant skirt. Okay, really? I don't agree. Simplicity 8657. Now this is what I was talking about in that video about the vintage patterns. I was talking about this as culottes because my mom made me a couple of these when I was in like 5th and 6th grade. And oddly, I have no idea how I ever went to the bathroom in those because they had a zipper up the back. And it was like you had to take the entire thing off. Maybe I just never went to the bathroom in the whole school day or something. 5th and 6th grade, that's not likely. Well, anyway, this is like a dress that is pants at the bottom. It's like a long jumpsuit. And then it has a little skirt that covers the pants part. Now, I called those culottes. That's because that's what my mom called them. I want to know what you would call them. This refers to them as a mini pant dress. It's cut in one piece. Can you see these? It's got in one, like it's a dress with a skirt, except the skirt portion isn't just a skirt. It's a pair of pants, and then it's a skirt over top of that. You see how this in the front is like a flap that comes down and kind of covers the crotch part of the pants? If this were only a skirt, I would call that a scooter skirt. I would call it that, but I know a bunch of you would call it a skort. And the only reason I call it a scooter skirt is because the skirt doesn't wrap around or wrap entirely around. It only has that flap in the front and usually in the back too, that that just cover the shorts. Anyway, okay, so that's what that one's called. Simplicity 8146 is a pant dress. Okay, Butterick 5405 refers to this as a jumpsuit. Okay, you want to tell me the difference here? I have no idea. Why would they call this a pant dress and this a jumpsuit? I have no idea, but they do. Bring on the comments. I just want to talk about it. We'll probably talk about it over on FRIDAYSEWS Central too on Facebook. One other little housekeeping thing I wanted to talk to you about with regard to this channel is that about half of you who watch aren't subscribed. And you know what? Subscribing really helps me because it puts my videos out in front of more people, which gives me a wider reach. And you all know how much I love having a wider reach because I'm all about connecting people who sew with other people who sew. So if you haven't subscribed, it'd be great if you did. So simple, just hit that little subscribe button. This is from Luke 12:22, which says, Jesus said to his disciples, I tell you not to worry about your life. Don't worry about having something to eat or to wear. I love that that verse continues on. They probably didn't put it on here because of the size of the font or whatever. But he goes on to talk about the lilies of the field, the flowers in a random field are beautiful. Even if I didn't have anything to wear, if I had no fabric to make anything with or no sewing machine, it wouldn't matter because God would make sure that I had something to eat, something to wear. He always takes care of his children, always. So I don't need to worry about that, neither do you. Take care, have a good weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.